Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Mendte. I'm sure you've heard of ALS, also called Lou Gehrig's disease. I'm sure you've heard that there is no cure, but there is money that goes into research, and there is money that goes to the care for victims of ALS. But what about their families? What about young children that are involved? That's where our next guests come in. Jodi O'Donnell is the founder, and Cara Haggerty is the executive director of Hope Loves Company. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Sure. As the founder, I'm guessing this is personal to you.
Absolutely. So my late husband, Kevin O'Donnell, was diagnosed with ALS in 2001. He passed away. He was diagnosed in 1995. He was 30 years old. We had a 2-year-old at home, and he lived with ALS for 6 years until he passed in 2001. He was ventilated, speechless. He relied on a feeding tube, and he was paralyzed. So it did obviously make a huge impact on the life that we had. Made many changes, and to have him at home and to care for him.
A 2-year-old, comes into understanding of life between 2 and 6 years old, and suddenly their understanding of life has to come with an understanding of death as well. It's got to be so difficult, and even the aftermath of that. The next few years have to be difficult I know it's difficult for you, but for a child who's just coming into understanding.
Well, the interesting thing about it was that we were raising a child to become independent, Kevin was becoming more dependent. So as we were teaching Alina to be able to feed herself and to dress herself, Kevin needed care doing both.
Did she understand it all?
She did in her young child way. She would verbalize a lot that her daddy was different and why is her daddy different. And to be honest, I never had the courage to say that daddy would die of this disease. I said he's not very well, he's not feeling well, he's very, very sick. But I never had the courage to say that daddy was going to die because I couldn't verbalize it myself.
But your daughter is an adult now?
She is. She's 27 years old and she lives in Philadelphia. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Does she have remembrances of this? How does she deal with it now?
She does. We recently had a documentary published, and she spoke about it on the documentary, which is called Hope Loves Company. And she said, she remembers our house as being, we had a lot of volunteers. We were very blessed to have a lot of volunteers. But we also had a lot of medical staff and nurses and people coming in and out. And her memory of it is, gratefully, we have a lot of pictures and we have tapes so she can hear her dad's voice and she can see pictures. But her memory is of all of the changes that were taking place.
So there is light at the other end of the tunnel for young people. It's a horrible thing to go through, but there is...
With the right support and the right resources, yes, I think there's light at the end of the tunnel.
So let's get to that. Cara, talk about Hope Loves Company. What exactly does the company do?
So Hope Loves Company is the only nonprofit in the U.S. with the specific mission to provide emotional and educational support to children and young adults who have or had a loved one with ALS. And we do that through children's programming that we provide at no cost to families affected by ALS. And our premier program is a weekend camp called Camp HLC. And we now have it in 6 different states: New Jersey, Indiana, Massachusetts, Florida, California, and Illinois.
So you really are a national nonprofit.
We are.
Because you're the only one.
Yes, that's correct. And there's a lot of organizations out there, as you said, that are researching and providing care and equipment, but we're the only ones with the specific mission to support children and families affected by ALS.
And when you think of ALS, you always think of somebody older getting it, but you told me a moment ago the average age is in the 40s, and since people are having children later in life,
right,
you're going to have small children involved.
When Kevin was diagnosed at the age of 30, he really was an anomaly. But now we know several people living with ALS in their 30s right now, even younger. And because people are having children at a younger age, we find that our average family is in their 40s or late 30s, and they have children, that are early childhood, elementary school age. So it definitely is affecting younger people.
And so how many people right now is your organization helping?
It's tough to say. We send out care packages as well, and we get probably 10 to 15 requests a month just for our care packages, which include a t-shirt, stuffed animal, gift card, a note that we all sign.
But the help goes beyond that, right? It's not just a care package.
Right. It's one thing that we send as well is children's books that gently introduce ALS. And Jodi's written a children's book, and she also wrote a caregiver guide. And the children's book actually has a resource guide to help parents facilitate that conversation, introduce ALS to their families. And we try to have, bring families together at camp and through follow-up activities, family fun days, and really it creates this giant network of support.
Are there counselors involved?
We do have good grief counselors at camp, and when we work with other ALS organizations, they also send in their care patient service provider and counselor to help.
I know you're the founder, and I'm sure because it's a small organization, you're hands-on. Is it difficult for you?
Creating Hope Loves Company has been very healing because it uses my experiences, my skills as a former teacher, as an advocate, as a leader, and has given me a voice for what I've gone through. And every day when families call, or text, or email, or inbox us on Facebook, I'm a voice to someone who's frightened. And I can say, I've been there. Hope Loves Company is here to support. We can send you books. We can listen to your questions. We can talk to your school. And we're having our first ever HLC Kids Conference next Friday, which is really a forum for people to talk about how to support children caregivers.
Well, Cara, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, we have a website, hopelovescompany.org, and you can also call us directly at the office at 609-730-1144, or reach out to us on social media. As Jodi said, we get a lot of messages through Facebook, Twitter, and it's all at Hope Loves Company, and Twitter is at Hope Loves Co.
Well, thank you very much,
both
of you, for coming in. I appreciate the time. Founder Jodi O'Donnell and Executive Director Cara Haggerty of Hope Loves Company. Jersey Matters continues right after this. Still to come on Jersey Matters, water infrastructure is a hot topic, especially after the Newark crisis. We'll talk about one plan to fix it when we come right back.